Hi everybody and welcome into another SunDevilSource series recap. I'm Ethan Tuttle, joined alongside Chris Carbon. We're here at Phoenix Municipal Stadium following Arizona State's 2-1 victory over the UCLA Bruins. This victory gives them the second of the series, so they take the series victory. They improved to 31-22 overall. It was a 2-1 final. The Sun Devils had some offensive firepower towards the end of the game that helped them capture the victory. But Chris, let's go ahead and get in with your initial takeaways.
Yeah, look, they needed to win this game for their NCAA regional aspirations. Super important. I was surprised initially when Christian Curtis, their starting pitcher, was taken out of the game after only giving up one run. We found out afterwards he had been sick all week. The bullpen did a really great job of being able to go through four pitchers without giving up any subsequent runs. ASU's hitters have not been doing well of late. That continued in this game, but they did get 2 home runs out of their 3 hits and were able to do just enough. It puts them in a pretty decent, cross your fingers if you're ASU type of a situation moving forward. But they still may need to win some games, a game, 2 games, something in the Pac-12 tournament.
Christian Curtis got the start for the Sun Devils. He went 2.2 innings. From there, the Sun Devils bullpen did the rest of the work. We found out after the game from pitching coach Sam Peraza that Christian Curtis had actually been out in the ER just a few days ago with some health issues. But what's your overall takeaway from the pitching so far for the Sun Devils and where it's at in this point in the season?
So look, I thought that they were maybe doing that strategically because they're trying to keep their arms fresher for the Pac-12 tournament. As it turns out, no, that wasn't the case. He pitched 43 pitches, and they were only hoping to get 3 innings out of him because of how sick that he had been throughout the week, and they called it a gutsy performance, Sam Peraza said after the game. That, I think, makes it all the more impressive of what they were able to accomplish today with their pitching staff. Owen Stevenson getting the win, pitched the last 2 innings. He's been really good, but Blake Pivaroff also as a setup man and others that they've had on this team have been able to gel and coalesce in these roles. They've had some guys that have been injured that's shortened down their pitching staff, but I think that they are in a pretty good position as they kind of transition now to postseason.
Coach Willie Bloomquist, after the 2-1 victory over the Bruins, said that the Sun Devils have been a little passive at the plate. For some of the younger guys, there's 5 to 6 freshmen routinely in the starting lineup for the Sun Devils. They just seem to have a little bit of lackluster performance so far in the box. What's your takeaway on that?
Well, look, I think there's several factors. One, they were so hot early that you're probably going to have some regression. Then also, you're going up against much better pitching in the back end of your schedule. They had a very easy front half. Second half, way tougher. Another factor is opponents are getting probably a better sense for how to pitch some of ASU's young players. They're going 4 or 5 freshmen quite a bit, right? And then I think then another thing is just it's a long season, probably longer than some of these guys have played before. Even though baseball is a year-round thing, to play one season of this sort of a length is a mentally taxing thing. Willie Bloomquist said some of the players even acknowledge that. So I think you put all those factors together, and they have gone through definitely a big lull. They're hoping that they can sort of generate some heat, though, here in the Valley when they play at the Pac-12 tournament in Scottsdale.
Yeah, Chris, you talk about it's a long season, very mentally taxing, but we've still got some baseball to go here in the back half. So what do the Sun Devils have to do to continue to find some success, kind of battle back, and as well, what are their kind of NCAA tournament hopes as well here as we head into Pac-12 tournament?
So look, they're in the low 50s on this RPI. Some of the projections have them either one of the last teams in, maybe at best a 3 seed. Today's win is a very big deal because it gives them a good sort of conclusion to their regular season against a decent team, UCLA. They're probably going to be in regardless of what happens, but you can't necessarily feel that way. The good news is that with this one, they also avoid having to place in Stanford's pool, the number 1 team in the Pac-12. They'll be probably either the 4 or the 5 seed, depending on what happens with USC's game against Arizona tonight. They need to try to find a way to get their hitting and their pitching coming together and playing well at the same time. That hasn't been the case. Bloomquist, you can tell he's a little frustrated. They had just great pitching in the back half in some of these games where they weren't able to do much at the plate after being so good earlier in the season at generating runs. And if they can just put it together, they have a chance to make some noise into the postseason, and we're going to be following it.
Chris, thank you so much. As always, that's going to do it for us here at Phoenix Municipal Ballpark as the Sun Devils take a 2-1 victory over UCLA in their final game, regular season game of the season. Until next time, he's Chris Cartman. I'm Ethan Tuttle. Thanks for tuning in to another Sun Devil Source Series recap.